Ken Purchase, the Labour and Cooperative Party Member of Parliament for Wolverhampton North East. Today I'm speaking to Jim Murphy, Member of Parliament for East Renfrewshire, but also, more importantly for this interview, he's the Minister for Europe and he's handling a large part of the debate currently taking place in Parliament on the European Treaty of Lisbon. Jim, I'd be grateful if you could answer one or two questions which I think are troubling my constituents more than most. The first question is, why no referendum?
Well, the UK has only ever had one referendum, Ken, and as you know, it was about our membership of Europe altogether. And we have really taken an approach in this treaty that previous governments took on their treaties. Mrs Thatcher on the Single European Act, John Major on Maastricht, Tony Blair on the Amsterdam Treaty and on the Treaty of Nice, is that the proper way of doing this, we think, and in fact it's the view that all governments have taken in the United Kingdom through time, is the best way to ratify these treaties is by line scrutiny in very great detail of the precise technical detail of the treaty. Now when we look across Europe, perhaps importantly, of the 27 countries in the European Union, only Ireland's having a referendum, because Ireland is bound by its domestic constitution that it must have a referendum in all European treaties. So really across Europe, every government has taken a very similar view that this should be ratified by Parliament, and that's the right approach.
So my constituents would still want to know that if there was in fact a referendum, and if Parliament voted for a referendum, there surely would be one, my constituents would want to know what would happen if they voted against that treaty. What would happen in terms of the future of Britain in Europe?
Well, if Britain had a referendum, and if, let's say for a moment, that happened and the people voted no, Britain couldn't ratify the treaty, and Britain would be outside the European mainstream. And then we're in a really uncertain position. There would be a big debate across Europe, with many governments saying, well, just let's leave the British behind. There'd be a great degree of instability, and our relationship with Europe would be under threat. When we consider that in Wolverhampton, there are thousands of jobs that rely on a relationship with the European Union. Well, and that's a real instability that we could do without.
We would want to come to that point and say to you, why is it when Britain is a world trader that we have to have this relationship with Europe, when what we really want is a relationship with the world to sell our goods and services? What difference would it make if we were outside that particular treaty?
Well, just in terms of the economy, if we're outside of Europe, there are 500 million citizens across Europe. It's the largest rules-based market in human history, and we're an integral and leading part of that, and that's fantastically important for the Wolverhampton economy, for the Midlands economy, and for the UK economy. Thousands of jobs, 3 million in the UK, but it is as your constituents, I know, are interested in the big issues as well about the environment, international poverty, in Africa in particular. Look, Europe has to show leadership on climate change. This treaty helps do that, which is why the Green Alliance have supported the measures on the environment. If we don't show leadership in Europe on climate change, then how on earth do we expect to get America, China, India, Russia to also play a big part? And that's the importance of the treaty.
People might argue that matters like climate change, climate control, emissions, our footprint are best dealt with on a world stage. And whilst it might be fine to talk to our European partners,